The girl calls 911 to save her mom from her dad. When the police arrive at their house, everyone is shocked by what they see. Before the story begins, comment below which city you're watching the video from. We love getting to know our viewers. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more exciting stories. Enjoy the story and see you soon. A broken table, glass scattered across the floor, and the echo of a scream that reverberated throughout the house. Anna, standing in the hallway, felt the pressure in her chest almost suffocating her. In that moment, in her home, all that remained was fear. Miguel, her partner, was no longer the kind man she had met. Something had changed in him, something she didn't know how to stop. And worst of all, he didn't even seem to realize the damage he was causing. The house they lived in, a small apartment with yellow walls that had once been full of laughter, now felt empty, desolate. Sophia, their 5-year-old daughter, was playing in the corner of the living room, unaware of the chaos unfolding around her. Anna watched her out of the corner of her eye, trying to stay calm, as if everything was normal. But her eyes betrayed her anxiety. The little girl looked at her mother, wondering why they couldn't go back to the life they once had. Anna tried to control her breathing. What had happened? When did this all begin? At first, Miguel had been the man she dreamed of sharing her life with, a loving, caring man capable of making her laugh in the hardest times. But after losing his job, Miguel changed. Each day, his frustration grew, and the arguments became more frequent. First it was harsh words, then shoves, until the first punch was thrown. Anna had forgiven him, thinking things would get better, but with each passing day, the situation worsened. Today, however, was different. Anna knew it. Miguel was more irritable than ever, and she could see no way out. The little girl played peacefully, while Miguel's shouting tore her apart. Sophia still didn't understand everything, but she felt the tension in the air, as if a dark cloud was approaching mercilessly. What would Anna do? How could she escape this cycle of violence without putting her daughter's life in danger? "I told you not to touch any of my stuff, Anna!" Miguel shouted, his voice cracking with rage. Anna tried to calm him, her words soft, almost a whisper, trying to stop the storm, but it didn't work. Miguel's tone grew fiercer, his face reddened, and his fists clenched tightly. All the frustration he had bottled up for weeks, months, exploded in a second. "You're going to regret all of this," he said, slamming his fist onto the living room table, which split in two with a deafening noise. Sophia jumped slightly at the loud noise. Anna, terrified, quickly looked at her, trying to hide the fear that flooded her face. She couldn't let her see more of this. Anna's heart pounded as she moved toward her daughter, trying to mask her panic. If anything happened to Sophia, she could never forgive herself. Miguel moved toward her, his fury overflowing. Anna knew there was no turning back. This time, something in his eyes was different, darker, more dangerous. But just when it seemed everything was lost, Anna's phone, forgotten on the table, started to ring. A small breath of relief, a moment of hope. Anna tried not to make a sound as she approached and grabbed the phone. A thought crossed her mind like a flash of lightning. It was now or never. "Hello?" Anna said, her voice trembling as she tried to stay quiet. On the other end, a deep, calm voice responded. It was Ricardo, the emergency operator. "Is everything okay?" he asked, sensing the fear in her tone. Anna hesitated for a second. Should she ask for help? Miguel was close. She could hear his heavy breathing. But something inside her told her it was time to act. "Please," Anna whispered, barely audible. "I need help. My partner is out of control. I don't know how much longer I can hold on." The operator, with impressive calm, quickly responded. "Stay calm. We are sending a patrol. Are you sure you're safe?" Anna looked at Sophia, who was watching her with wide eyes, frightened, not fully understanding what was happening. She couldn't let anything happen to her little girl. "Please, hurry!" was all she could say before hanging up. Miguel was watching the scene from across the room, his anger on the brink of exploding, unaware that a small action had begun to change the course of the night. As the emergency call was processed, Anna tried to soothe Sofia with a trembling smile. Terror still gripped her, but something told her that maybe this was the first step toward a way out. The sun began to set behind the clouds, tinting the sky with orange and pink hues. In the small living room of the apartment, Sofia continued playing, unaware of the storm brewing in the air. Anna, however, couldn't stop looking toward the door. Every sound made her nerves jump. The weight was unbearable, but time seemed to stand still. Every second of silence was an opportunity Miguel used to let his fury overflow. "Mom, why is Dad yelling so much?" Sofia asked, holding her ragdoll tightly with both hands, the one that always kept her company in times of fear. Anna didn't know what to say. How could she explain to her daughter that the man she saw as her hero, her protector, was losing control? Sofia's face reflected a purity that Anna didn't want to see ruined by fear. She couldn't let her daughter grow up marked by terror. "Don't worry, darling. Everything will be okay," Anna said, trying to sound calm, but her voice trembled at the end of the sentence. Sofia, unaware of the seriousness of the situation, simply nodded and went back to playing. Anna watched her, remembering happier times when laughter and hugs were the norm, not shouts and blows. But the worst part was that, deep in her heart, Anna knew Miguel would never be the same. She had seen him change little by little, and now she couldn't deny the terrible truth. Their relationship had become a trap. In those moments, Sofia was the only refuge Anna had. The girl, with her innocent laughter and her ability to see the world with eyes full of wonder, kept alive in Anna a spark of hope. Sometimes, Anna found herself watching her while she played, thinking about how, despite everything, her daughter could still be happy, even though she didn't understand everything that was happening. "Mom, will you read me a story?" Sofia asked, looking up at her with her mischievous face as if nothing was wrong. Anna, surprised by the simple question, felt a lump in her stomach. The desire to keep some routine for Sofia was so strong that for a moment the anguish of the situation seemed to fade. Despite the fear she felt, she wanted to give her daughter a small dose of normalcy, something that could hold her up while everything around them was falling apart. "Of course, darling," Anna replied, forcing a weak smile as she grabbed a storybook she always kept handy. She sat next to Sofia and began to read, trying with all her might to keep her voice from betraying the tremor of her emotions. But while the words from the book flowed smoothly, the tension beyond her control began to rise. Anna heard Miguel's footsteps approaching. He already knew she had picked up the phone, and his rage hadn't subsided in the slightest. Anna set the book aside, looking at Sofia with anxiety. How much more could she bear? The fear gripped her heart as she thought that at any moment a much worse storm could break out. What hurt the most was thinking how Sofia already sensed something wasn't right. Even at her young age, the girl was beginning to feel the weight of a burden that should never have been hers. The sound of a door opening abruptly made her jump. It was Miguel, his imposing figure appearing in the doorway, his gaze fixed on Anna. Sofia's face lit up when she saw her father, but Anna knew that nothing good could come from this encounter. "What are you doing, Anna?" Miguel asked in a deep voice, his tone full of disdain. Anna quickly stood up, trying to calm the situation with soft words. Sofia watched in silence, not fully understanding what was happening, but sensing that the atmosphere in the house had grown even tenser. "Miguel, please, it's not necessary," Anna said, trying to control her voice so it wouldn't sound so broken, but he wasn't listening. Frustration and rage consumed him. What do you do when the man you love becomes someone unrecognizable? Sophia, despite the tension in the air, continued to look at her mother with those innocent eyes, seeking comfort in her. Anna, meanwhile, wished she could save her from all this, wished she could protect her forever. And in the midst of the emotional storm that was unfolding in that home, one question arose in Anna's mind. Could she escape from all of this? At that instant, Sophia, not understanding the full gravity of what was happening, looked at her mother again and said something that made Anna's heart stop for a moment. "Mom, why is Dad so sad?" Sophia's words, though innocent, struck Anna's soul. The love of her daughter, so pure, so sincere, shouldn't be tied to this suffering. Anna looked at Sophia, her eyes filled with pain, and made a decision in her heart. She couldn't let Sophia grow up under the weight of this fear. Something had to change. And that night, although fear surrounded her, Anna would find a way out, even if she had no idea what awaited her. The clock on the wall read 10 p.m., but inside the apartment, time seemed to have stopped. Shadows lengthened as Anna tried with all her strength to keep control. Sophia was still close to her, not understanding what was going on, but the atmosphere in the house was heavier than ever. Miguel was in his world, dominated by a fury that seemed endless, and Anna felt that every minute could be the last. Sophia, unaware of the risks they were running, snuggled close to her mother, seeking comfort in her proximity. How could Anna keep calm? She thought about what she could do to protect her daughter without Miguel noticing her thoughts. Could she get out of this? The question tormented her, but there was no time for doubt. Miguel, standing in the doorway, watched them with a mix of confusion and rage. His face was dark, and his eyes, once warm, now reflected a deep emptiness. The helplessness of not being able to control his life seemed to have turned into anger towards those he loved most. "I don't want you controlling me anymore, Anna," he said in a low voice, but one filled with threat. "This has to stop." Anna swallowed hard, struggling to keep her fear from showing. She knew that any wrong word could unleash Miguel's fury, and the consequences would be unpredictable. However, something inside her told her that she needed to act quickly. What could she do to make all this stop? The answer came in the form of a faint voice inside her head. Call. Ask for help. In that moment, Anna remembered the call she had made earlier, the operator on the other end, the promise that someone would come to rescue her. Anna looked at Sophia, who, unknowingly, was offering her the courage needed to take the next step. Her eyes, full of innocence, became her strength. She couldn't let the cycle continue. She couldn't let Sophia grow up under this constant climate of violence. With a shaky breath, Anna grabbed her phone and with almost imperceptible movement dialed the emergency number again. "Hello?" Anna said, her voice barely audible. The operator's response was immediate, recognizing her number at once. "Is everything okay? Do you need help?" Ricardo asked, his professional calm making Anna feel, even if just a little, safer. "Please, I need you to hurry," she said, unable to hold back any longer. "Miguel's out of control. He's very angry and I don't know what's going to happen." Ricardo's voice on the other end remained steady, acknowledging the urgency of the situation. "Stay safe. We're sending a patrol. Can you leave the house if necessary?" Anna looked at Miguel, who was still only a few meters away from her. She knew she couldn't escape. She was trapped in that apartment with no clear way out, but something in Ricardo's voice gave her a glimmer of hope. "I don't know if I can leave," Anna replied, looking at Sophia, who was now holding her hand, as if sensing that something was about to change. "But I'll stay here. Try to stay calm. Help is on the way," Ricardo told her, before ending the call. The echo of the phone being hung up faded quickly, but Anna still couldn't relax. How could she keep her daughter safe until the police arrived? In that moment, Sophia, as if by innocent impulse, started singing one of her favorite songs. With the childish melody floating in the air, Anna felt her heart crumble. It was so unfair, but Sophia, in her purity, was trying to light up the darkness of the night. Miguel took a step toward them, and Anna, with a knot in her stomach, tried to stop his advance with a simple phrase, "Miguel, please calm down." But the words had no effect. The rage Miguel had inside him could not be stopped by anything. He slammed his fist on the table, causing the plates on the shelf to tremble. In that instant, Sophia, startled, stopped singing and looked at her father with wide eyes, not fully understanding what was happening, but feeling like everyone in the house that something was terribly wrong. Anna, her chest tight with fear, took a step back and hugged Sophia tightly. The sound of the patrol's footsteps approaching began to echo in her ears. The police were near, but would it be too late? Miguel, looking at his daughter, seemed momentarily confused. What had happened to him? His expression softened slightly, but before he could react, the sound of a distant horn made his body tense. The police were here. A mix of relief and terror overcame Anna. Nothing would ever be the same again. But the question that hung in the air was, could she escape this nightmare and give Sophia a better future? The siren of the patrol grew louder, cutting through the anguish that had settled in every corner of the house. Even though help was on the way, Anna's fear didn't fade. Would it be enough to save them both? She clung to Sophia as if her life depended on it. Miguel's screams were still deafening, but something inside him had shifted, as if the presence of the police was a reminder of everything he had lost. Miguel didn't move. He stood staring at his daughter with an expression Anna couldn't decipher. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. Sophia's face, with her big, scared eyes, was searching for answers that no one could give her. "Daddy," Sophia whispered, clutching her teddy bear to her chest. "Why are you so angry?" Sophia's words, full of innocence, hit Miguel like a direct blow. His hands, which had once risen in fury, now trembled. What kind of man had he become? He looked at Anna, and for a brief moment remembered who he had been before losing control of his life. Memories of a happier time seemed to emerge through the fog of his rage, but nothing could stop the chaos he had unleashed. Anna, seeing that Miguel's moment of vulnerability wouldn't last long, decided to act. She knew the police wouldn't be long in arriving, but she couldn't wait any longer. The fear that everything would end badly pushed her to do the unthinkable, try to reach him, speak to him, try to save some part of his humanity before everything exploded. "Miguel, please, don't do this," she said, her voice broken but determined. Her gaze was firm, but her heart was pounding. She wanted to reach him, remind him of what they had been, of what they once shared, but she knew he wasn't the same man. She didn't recognize him anymore. The police, now in front of the building, were preparing to enter. Meanwhile, Anna maintained her exterior calm, but inside, she wondered if she would be able to stop Miguel before it was too late. "It's too late for us, Anna. You have no idea what you've done," Miguel said, his eyes full of rage. The sound of the patrol outside made him turn toward the window. The pressure was mounting. He knew he couldn't escape the situation he was in. At that moment, Sophia, not fully understanding what was going on, let go of her teddy bear and cautiously approached her father. Why did her dad look so different? Why was Mom so sad? "Daddy, please, don't hurt me anymore." Sophia's words, though simple, carried an unimaginable strength. Miguel, in shock from the sincerity and sweetness of his daughter, hesitated. It was as though Sophia's words reached him deeper than Anna's ever could. Inside, a battle began to unfold. The love he still felt for his daughter clashed against the rage that consumed him. Anna, seizing this moment of doubt, took a step forward. "Miguel, listen to Sophia. She needs you. Please, don't hurt her anymore. We've already suffered too much." An unsettling silence filled the room. In that instant, Anna knew she was racing against time. The sound of the approaching police was growing louder, and she had to act quickly before Miguel decided to do something irreversible. Suddenly, a loud bang on the front door interrupted the tense moment. The police had entered the building. The countdown had begun. Livia, the neighbor who had always been aware of the situation, wasted no time. Together with Carlos, the neighbor who had always wanted to help, they were outside doing everything they could to distract Miguel. Any distraction could save a life. The police, led by Officer Gabriela, were observing the scene from the bathroom window. The situation was dangerous. The risk of Miguel becoming violent again was imminent. There was no time to waste. With swift and decisive tactics, the officers began preparing their entry. Meanwhile, Anna looked at Sofia, who was still holding her hand, trusting her without fully understanding what was happening. How she wished for everything to end well for her daughter. Despite all the fear, Anna couldn't allow Sofia to live another day under this shadow of violence. Gabriela, the officer in charge, gave the order to her team. It was time to intervene. The police were preparing to enter through the window, while Livia and Carlos did their best to keep Miguel distracted. And amidst it all, Sofia, with her innocence, uttered a phrase that would change the course of the night. "Daddy, please, don't make me cry." The shock was immediate. Miguel froze for a second, staring at his daughter, and that small pause was enough for the officers to burst into the room. The intervention was quick, but Miguel, still resisting, couldn't prevent them from subduing him. In an instant, he was arrested, and the doors of hell were closing forever. Anna, with Sofia still clinging to her side, breathed deeply. Finally, the cycle of violence had come to an end, but the big question remained. How could they heal after so much pain? The sound of the sirens slowly faded as Anna and Sofia were escorted to the patrol car. Miguel was already in custody, but the calm settling in the air wasn't enough to erase the terror that had marked that night. The building door shut behind them, and although they felt relieved, both knew there was still a long road ahead. Inside the car, Sofia sat in silence, staring out the window. Where were they going now? She didn't understand, but something in her small heart knew that everything had changed forever. Anna watched her from the seat beside her, holding her hand tightly. What would Sofia say when all this was over? How would she explain to her that, despite the safety they now had, the wounds from everything they'd lived through wouldn't disappear so easily? Anna, however, was determined. Although the pain and fear still lingered, she felt that she had taken the first step in protecting her daughter, in freeing them both from that endless nightmare. Nothing could bring back the lost years, but there was still time to rebuild. If anyone had the strength to do it, it was her. The patrol car stopped in front of a modest yet welcoming building. A safe haven, Anna thought. Here, women and children fleeing violence received support. Anna knew this was just the beginning of a new life, even though she had no idea what the coming days would bring. A social worker came out to greet them, her kind face offering Anna a breath of relief. "Welcome. We'll do everything we can to make you feel safe here," the woman said, guiding them inside. As they entered, Sofia began exploring, touching the toys in the playroom. Something as simple as a toy, but to her, it felt like a symbol of the normalcy she had lost. Anna, watching her, felt a knot form in her stomach. How long had it been since Sofia had played without fear? The social worker, who introduced herself as Claudia, offered them a place to rest. Anna, still stunned, sat on the couch, trying to process everything that had happened. Claudia, recognizing the need to talk, sat down beside her. "I know this is very recent, but if you ever want to talk, we're here to support you," Claudia said gently. "This is a safe place, and I want you to know that you're not alone." Anna looked at Sofia, who was now playing with other children in the living room. Despite everything, her daughter still wore a smile. It was a miracle, Anna thought. Sofia, with her indomitable spirit, kept looking for joy, even in the midst of darkness. As the hours passed, Anna began to relax for the first time in a long while. The pressure in her chest, which had weighed on her for so long, slowly began to lift. What would become of her now? Despite the emotional scars, Anna knew she had to rebuild her life, not just for herself, but for Sofia too. Several days passed at the shelter. During that time, Anna attended counseling sessions, where she began to share her pain, her fears, and her hopes. She learned to understand what she had suffered and what she needed to do to heal. The therapist explained to her that abuse, both physical and emotional, left invisible marks that needed to be treated with patience and understanding. But the most important thing was that Anna began to regain her confidence. During one of the sessions, she remembered something she had put aside, her love for crafting. How long had it been since she did something that made her happy? She decided that she wanted to work on something that allowed her to express herself, something that connected her with her creativity. With the shelter's support, Anna found a small job at a local craft store. At first, the idea of returning to the workforce terrified her, but as the weeks passed, she discovered that this job brought her peace. While creating, she felt like she could release her repressed emotions and rediscover a part of herself that had been dormant for so long. Sofia, for her part, began attending art and dance activities. The little girl found comfort in colors, movements, and music. It was as if everything she had lived through could not extinguish her joy. With each class, Sofia began to rise again, recovering that spark that had made her special from the start. One afternoon, while Anna was working at the store, she saw Sofia dancing in the shelter's yard, a big smile on her face. In that moment, Anna knew she was doing the right thing. Finally, Sofia was starting to heal. Anna watched her daughter and thought about everything they had been through. This was just the first step on a long road, but at least now they had the chance to move forward. She could see a future for them both, full of challenges, but also full of hope. In the distance, in the store, a small wooden box decorated with flowers, which Anna had created with her own hands, shone in the sunlight. It was a reminder that, although everything had seemed lost, life could be reborn piece by piece. Weeks passed slowly, but with each new dawn, Anna felt like she was taking more control of her life. The shelter had become her emotional refuge, and the craft store a space where she could channel all her creative energy. Despite the emotional weight she carried, she felt something inside her beginning to heal. Sofia, as always, had a special way of making everything seem easier. With her unbreakable spirit, the little girl continued to fill every corner of the shelter with laughter. Anna watched as little by little, her daughter regained the joy that had been taken from her for so long. It was a miracle to see her smile again. One afternoon, after a long day at work, Anna was arranging some pieces in the store when Claudia, the social worker, entered with a warm smile on her face. "Anna, I want you to know that we've been working with the authorities. Miguel is going to trial, and it seems like things are moving in the right direction." The news made Anna breathe deeply. Although she knew she couldn't change the past, she felt that every step toward justice was another step toward freedom. "And how is Sofia?" Anna asked, concerned about how the little one was processing everything that had happened. "She's better. She's adjusting." "But Anna, I know this process is long, and what you need now more than anything is time for yourself. You've done so much for her, and I commend you. But have you thought about what makes you happy?" Claudia asked, with a compassionate look. Anna paused for a moment. What made her happy? She remembered the afternoons spent in the store, working with her hands, painting, creating. But something inside her felt that she needed more. She wanted something that not only helped her heal, but also made her feel complete as a woman, not just as a mother. Claudia looked at her with a peaceful smile. "It's time to think about yourself too, Anna. Don't lose yourself in the process of healing your daughter. The next morning, Anna woke up early, determined. After taking Sophia to her dance class, she headed to a nearby community center. There, she had heard about a free painting workshop being offered. It was the perfect opportunity to reconnect with her art and with herself. The workshop was small but full of life. As she entered, she was greeted by several students who shared her passion for painting. Anna, who had been so focused on surviving, now felt a wave of emotion. Art had never left her. It was as if everything she had created in her life, all the pieces of herself, were falling back into place. With each brushstroke, she felt the past, no matter how painful, fading little by little. During that time, things at the shelter also improved. Sophia began making new friends, and Anna noticed that when she saw them play, she felt a deep peace. It was as if, through the laughter and joy of her daughter, she could perceive a future full of possibilities. One day, upon returning from her painting class, Anna found a letter in her mailbox. It was from the lawyers representing Miguel. The letter announced that the trial for abuse would begin in a few weeks. Anna looked at it calmly, without fear, because she knew she was no longer the same woman she once was. She was no longer the woman who feared Miguel. Despite everything, she felt she had something greater than any trial or sentence. The inner peace she had begun to build with her own hands. Days later, when Anna picked up Sophia from her dance class, she felt a new energy in her daughter. The sparkle in her eyes was no longer the same as before. Sophia was growing, not just physically but emotionally. Each day, the pieces of their life were coming together again. The day of the trial finally arrived. Anna, with a mix of nerves and determination, entered the courtroom. Throughout the process, she felt supported by the shelter, by the women who, like her, had fought for their freedom. She was not alone. The presence of Claudia and the other social workers gave her a strength she never imagined having. Miguel, who seemed increasingly isolated, sat in front of her with an empty expression. Anna didn't look at him. He wasn't worth it anymore. The only thing that mattered was her daughter, her future. During the hours the trial lasted, Anna listened to the words of the lawyers but didn't focus on them. She was focused on Sophia, who was waiting with Claudia in a nearby room. When the trial concluded, Anna felt strangely relieved. Miguel would be sentenced, and she would finally have the chance to close that chapter of her life. But it wasn't just about the verdict. It was about the fact that she was now free. That night, after everything, Anna and Sophia cuddled in their bed, and Sophia smiled at her, as if silently saying, "Mom, we did it." Anna hugged her tightly. They had made it to the other side. The weeks following the trial were a mix of calm and constant work. Although the sentence against Miguel had been favorable, Anna knew that the real battle was just beginning. The peace she had conquered in her heart wasn't built overnight. Every day required effort, but she also felt an inner strength she had never known before. Anna and Sophia began to rebuild their routine. In the mornings, Anna would take Sophia to school and then head to the craft shop, where time seemed to pass faster as she immersed herself in her creative work. Sometimes, while painting or decorating ceramic pieces, she would think about what she had left behind, the suffering, the fear, the sleepless nights. But each brushstroke represented a step forward, a step toward a future where she could be happy, where Sophia could grow without the shadow of Miguel. Although Anna felt that her life was heading in a positive direction, something still troubled her. What if everything collapsed again? The emotional scars were deep, and even though Miguel was no longer in their lives, the traces of his abuse didn't disappear easily. On some nights when darkness fell over the shelter, Anna would wake up startled by nightmares, echoes of the screams she had heard so many times. But then she would remember something Claudia had told her. The healing process takes time, and it's not linear. No matter how long it took, Anna was determined to move forward. One Friday afternoon, as she was getting ready to close the shop, Claudia entered with a smile on her face. Anna looked at her, puzzled. It wasn't common for the social worker to show up unannounced. "Anna, I have something for you," Claudia said, handing her an envelope. Anna opened it cautiously. Inside, there was an invitation to an event for women entrepreneurs that would take place in a neighboring town. It was an opportunity for Anna to showcase her crafts, to share her art with the world. Anna's heart began to race. Could she be ready to take that step? Claudia, sensing her doubts, added, "I know this scares you, but what you have is special, Anna. Not just your hands, but your story, your resilience. People need to see what you're capable of." Anna thought of Sophia, her little one, who had been watching her mother from the very beginning. She too deserved a future full of hope and love. After thinking for a moment, Anna nodded decisively. "I'm going to do it." The idea of showing her work, putting her creations in front of others, was terrifying, but also liberating. On the day of the event, Anna and Sophia arrived at the venue with their hearts racing. It was a giant step, but also a necessary one. Sophia, seeing her mom in a new dress with a determined expression, smiled at her. "Mom, you look beautiful," she exclaimed, excited. Anna smiled at her daughter, and with her hand in hers, they approached the table where Anna would display her pieces. She had made ceramic flowers, hand-painted paintings, and small wooden sculptures. Each piece was a reflection of her soul, a testament to everything she had overcome. As people began to approach her table, Anna felt a mix of nerves and pride. They weren't just admiring her work, they were recognizing her effort, her ability to move forward. At first, words didn't come easily, but soon Anna began to feel comfortable sharing her creative process and the story behind each piece. People were touching, admiring, buying. For Anna, it was much more than a sale. It was an affirmation that she was alive, that she had been reborn. Amid the bustle of the event, a woman approached and said, "You know, your story is incredible. Not only are your crafts beautiful, but you have a strength that inspires." The woman's words deeply touched Anna. It was as if life were telling her that all the suffering had been worth it, because now, in front of her, was a future full of possibilities. As the afternoon went on, Sophia played with other children near the activity area, running and laughing, completely unaware of the pain from the past. Sophia was flourishing, and Anna couldn't help but feel a wave of gratitude. Although life had hit them hard, it had also given them the chance to start anew. That night, when they returned to the shelter, Anna looked at Sophia as she slept. Her little one, with her serene face, seemed completely at peace. All Anna wanted was for her daughter to have a life free of pain, full of love and opportunities. With a heart full of hope, Anna began to dream out loud, imagining a future where her art reached more people, where she could live from what she loved to do. She wasn't sure how she would get there, but one thing she knew for sure: she was going to fight for that future. Anna had been reborn, and although the road was still long, she no longer feared tomorrow. She was finally building the life she had always deserved. The spring breeze blew gently as Anna walked through the city streets with Sophia by her side. It was a special day. Her first craft exhibition had been a success, and now she felt her life was taking a definitive turn. However, like all new beginnings, shadows still lingered. In the weeks that followed, Anna continued working at the shop, dedicating herself to her creations with renewed fervor. Sophia, happy with her dance classes and the new friends she had made, seemed to be a reflection of the peace beginning to settle into their lives. But Anna knew that peace was fragile, and although the situation with Miguel seemed under control, her internal fears never fully disappeared. It was on a quiet morning that Claudia arrived at the shelter with unexpected news. "Anna, There's something you need to know. The trial against Miguel hasn't been definitively closed. Despite the initial conviction, he has appealed, and the case could reopen in a few months. Claudia observed Anna's face, searching for a reaction. Anna took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Why couldn't she stop looking back? Throughout this time, she had tried not to think about Miguel, but now, with this new threat, everything she had overcome seemed to be resurfacing. I don't want him in our lives, Claudia. Not anymore. Anna murmured, more to herself than to Claudia. She felt a wave of helplessness, a sense that, although she was moving forward, there was still something beyond her control. Claudia nodded, understanding, but insisted. I understand, Anna, but the important thing is that you and Sophia are safe. This new process could be long, and I don't want you to feel alone. If you need help, I'm here for you. That night, Anna couldn't stop thinking about Claudia's words. What would she do if Miguel came back into their lives? In her heart, she knew she was not willing to give in. Everything she had achieved so far, everything she had rebuilt with so much effort, was at stake. She couldn't let him destroy her life or her daughter's life again. The next day, when Anna went to pick up Sophia from school, she noticed something strange. As she approached the park where Sophia was playing, she saw two men in dark jackets watching them. A chill ran down her spine. Who were they? Why were they not taking their eyes off of them? She stopped, watching them discreetly, as her mind began to make connections. Could they be sent by Miguel? Sophia, unaware of her mother's concern, continued playing. But Anna couldn't shake the feeling of danger. She decided to wait for Sophia to approach, and as soon as she did, she began walking toward the park exit, not looking back. The two men followed them at a distance. Anna quickened her pace. When they finally reached the car, Sophia asked, "Mom, why are you acting so strange today?" Her innocent voice brought Anna back to reality. "It's nothing, Sophia. I'm just a bit tired. Let's go home, okay?" Despite her efforts to hide it, Anna couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. Were they watching them? Had Miguel sent someone? That night, Anna couldn't sleep. The thought that Miguel might be nearby, lurking, terrified her. Even though she knew she had taken the necessary steps to stay safe, the fear lingered like a shadow. How much longer would she live in fear? The next day, Anna decided she needed to talk to the police to make sure everything was in order. She couldn't wait for something to happen and then regret it. It was time to take the next step. That's when she decided to go to the station to request a more stringent protection order, something that would keep her and Sophia safe if Miguel tried to approach them. When she arrived at the station, she was greeted by Officer Gabriela, who had known her well from the previous events. Gabriela looked at her with a mix of concern and understanding. "Anna, we know this is a painful process, but I promise you we will do everything we can to keep you safe. We will protect you and Sophia." Anna thanked her with a look, but something inside her still felt uneasy. She knew that what was coming would be complicated, but she wasn't going to give up. For Sophia, for herself, for everything she had overcome. That night, while Sophia slept peacefully, Anna sat in the armchair, her gaze fixed on the future. What had started with fear and suffering was now a fight for freedom, for the safety and peace they deserved. She was ready to face any challenge. Nothing and no one would take away what they had gained. Anna knew the road wouldn't be easy, but she also knew one thing. She was ready to fight for her life, for her daughter, for her happiness. Anna and Sophia were living a life that was beginning to feel normal, but the echoes of the past never seemed to completely disappear. Every time the phone rang at an odd hour or someone got too close to their house, fear would momentarily take hold of Anna. However, after everything that had happened with Miguel, she had learned to recognize her fears and face them. She wasn't alone anymore. Claudia, the police, the neighbors all supported her on her journey toward healing. But deep down, Anna knew that despite everything she had achieved, there was one last shadow to face. Miguel's appeal trial had arrived, and now she was the one who would have to face the man who had once destroyed her life, face to face. She had done everything possible to distance herself from him, but now she would have to prove that her and Sophia's future could not be threatened again. The day of the trial arrived quickly. Anna felt a mixture of anxiety and determination. On the one hand, she feared facing Miguel again, but on the other, she knew this was the last step she had to take to close a painful chapter of her life. It was time for Miguel to know that she was no longer the same woman she had once been. At the entrance to the court, Anna noticed she wasn't alone. Claudia, who had always been by her side in the darkest moments, was there. Officer Gabriela, the one who had helped her escape the horrors she had lived through in her home, was also there. Anna felt supported, but the knot in her stomach wouldn't go away. How would it feel to face Miguel again? The trial began with Miguel being introduced by his lawyer, who tried to present him as calm and rational. Could he really change after everything he had done? Anna wondered as she watched Miguel from her seat. Their eyes met for a brief moment, but Miguel showed no emotion. Did he really think he could escape the consequences of his actions? The prosecution presented its case, detailing the physical and emotional abuse Miguel had inflicted on Anna throughout the years. The evidence, the testimonies, the photos, everything was there. Anna listened to every word, feeling the weight of each accusation pressing on her chest. It had all been real, everything she had lived through. When it was her turn to speak, Anna stood firm. She wasn't going to let her voice tremble. She spoke calmly, describing how Miguel had manipulated her, how he had destroyed her self-esteem, and how, even now, he still tried to control her from afar. But she also spoke of her daughter, of Sophia, of how she had fought to give her a future filled with love and security. Anna knew she couldn't let Miguel back into their lives, and she had to make it clear that her determination was stronger than ever. During her testimony, Miguel looked down, avoiding eye contact. Was it fear he was feeling? Shame? Anna wasn't sure, but she no longer cared. The trial wasn't about him. It was about her, about Sophia, about their right to live in peace. When Miguel's lawyer presented his defense, he tried to argue that the evidence wasn't enough, that Anna was exaggerating, but Anna no longer felt vulnerable. She knew the evidence was there, and she knew she was there, standing firm like never before. The court deliberated, and the verdict came quickly. Miguel was sentenced to a more severe penalty, one that reflected the magnitude of his crimes. Justice had finally been served. Anna didn't cry when she heard the sentence. She was no longer the broken woman from before. She had been through so much, and now, with the verdict, she felt that everything she had suffered had a purpose. Miguel would never be able to hurt her or Sophia again. They had won the battle, and although the pain would never completely disappear, now they had the right to move forward. That same night, Anna sat beside Sophia, holding her tightly. Sometimes the road to peace was long, but it was always worth it. Sophia smiled at her as she always did, with that unbreakable light that she had managed to keep despite everything they had gone through. Anna had won, but the most important thing was that Sophia had won too. The door to the future was finally open. No fear, no shadows. The world was theirs. After everything they had been through, Anna and Sophia realized that the future wouldn't be perfect, but at least it would be theirs. Miguel's conviction had been the last obstacle in their path, but now, with a new life ahead, each day felt like a gift filled with possibilities. Anna devoted herself more and more to her art. Orders for her handcrafted pieces increased, and with every sale, she felt her confidence growing. The craft store where she worked became her refuge, a place where she could express herself, create, and most importantly, heal. She had transformed her pain into beauty, and that process had helped her reclaim what she had once lost, her personal power. Sophia, for her part, flourished like never before. Every day after school, she went to her dance classes, where she had formed beautiful friendships with other children. It was clear that Sophia had left behind the fear and sadness that once surrounded her. Her laughter, full of innocence, had become the most beautiful sound in the house. The trauma of her childhood was healing, and Anna knew that her daughter, despite everything, had a bright future ahead. One afternoon, while Anna painted a new piece in her workshop, Sophia came running, her eyes shining with excitement. "Mom, Mom," said Sophia, jumping with happiness. "The dance festival is coming. I've been chosen to dance in the final presentation." Anna smiled, seeing the sparkle in her daughter's eyes. It was such a special moment because it represented everything they had overcome together. Sophia would never have to fear again. They would never live in fear. On the day of the festival, Anna and Sophia were together, ready to face this new challenge. Sophia was nervous, but her mother hugged her tenderly. "You're going to do great, my love. No matter what happens, the important thing is that you enjoy the moment. You're amazing." Anna watched from the side of the stage as Sophia danced, moving with grace and freedom. In that instant, Anna realized how far they had come. They had survived the terror, but they had also found beauty in life again. When the performance ended, Sophia ran to her mother, her eyes radiating happiness. "Mom, I did it!" she exclaimed, and Anna lifted her into the air, smiling with all her heart. The audience applauded enthusiastically, and Anna, with tears in her eyes, hugged her daughter tighter than ever. In that embrace, she felt that it had all been worth it. Every tear, every sacrifice, every step forward. Sophia was no longer the scared little girl she had once been. Now, she was a girl full of dreams and hope, ready to conquer the world. At the end of the day, as they walked back home, Anna looked at Sophia and said, "We did it, my love. And the best part is, this is just the beginning." The road to the light hadn't been easy, but it had finally arrived. The darkness was behind them, and all that remained was the bright future they could now embrace. Anna and Sophia were ready to write the rest of their story, a story full of love, hope, and above all, freedom. Life would never be the same again. But for Anna, that was the most beautiful thing, because now she was free. And the best part was, she was free with Sophia. And so, we come to the end of our story, a tale of struggle, bravery, and overcoming. Anna and Sophia taught us that although the road to freedom can be long and difficult, there is always hope. They showed that with the support of those around us and a lot of willpower, it is possible to overcome fear and build a life full of love and opportunities. If this story touched you, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming narratives full of emotions and lessons. And of course, activate the bell so you always receive a notification whenever we upload a new video. Now, I'd love to know your opinion. How do you think Anna and Sophia would have reacted if Miguel had tried to get close again? Do you think they would have found a way to face him? Or would the scars of the past have been stronger? Leave your comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, your interaction is very important to us and always motivates us to keep creating content for you. See you in the next video.